I look forward to doing it. But these things, record are made to be broken. The record, and no doubt, will be broken eventually. But if I'm not the individual that'll do it, the objective is to be the champion of the world. And that definitely will happen. Sure.
The promise of greatness is there. The ultimate goal is attainable. We'll take a close-up look at Mike Tyson and his quest to become heavyweight champion of the world.
Hello, Linus. I see your blanket's out for washing.
Gone already. Opportunity is gone because you're thinking too long. Everything should happen instantly, tenth of a second. When he does this should happen naturally. You shouldn't have to think about it.
Since turning pro in March of last year, Mike Tyson has made a lot of things happen. Of his 19 knockouts, 12 have come in the first round. From the opening bell, he unleashes a furious attack, exploding punches with both hands. But with his aggressiveness and his quick hands, Tyson has also shown impressive control in the ring. As he bobs and weaves his way inside, he never seems to be off balance, and he's always ready to land the big knockout punch. Tyson has the power to get the job done with one punch, or as he showed against Sammy Scaff in December, the quickness to unleash a barrage of effective blows. Without question, 1985 was an excellent year for Mike Tyson. 15 fights, 15 knockouts. The opponents weren't top caliber, but remember, Tyson is still a teenager. 1986 has brought continued success for Mike Tyson, starting with another first-round knockout, this one over Dave Jaco. The year has also provided bigger tests. Against Jesse Ferguson, Tyson showed he could indeed take a punch and still work inside to land his own bomb. In his last fight, the Brooklyn native met veteran James Quick Tillis, and Tyson proved that he has the stamina to go 10 rounds. Some questions still need to be answered, but most boxing experts think that Mike Tyson is for real.
He's exciting. He looks like a fighter. He walks like a fighter. He talks like a fighter.
He sort of reminds me of a fellow I saw after the war, a fellow by the name of Marciano. I said, he hurts you all the time. He doesn't have to hit you on the jaw. He hurts you.
Well, there's a lot in Mike Tyson. He's a good puncher. He can box also. And I like the things I've seen him. He's determined. He wants to be champion.
Mike Tyson, to me, is a very exciting young heavyweight. He's short, he's strong, he throws fast punches, and he hits very hard. So from a fan's point of view, to me, he is very exciting.
I think the word for him is awesome. He can fight. He fights these big guys so well, it's unbelievable. The fellow with just a few fights does as well as he does. He slips punches, and when he hits them to the body, their mouths open up.
It is Tyson's tremendous power that has impressed most boxing people, and among his 19 knockout victims, none have asked for a rematch.
You have a sledgehammer, man. You know, when I go down there and feel it, he's ready to hit that. It's the hardest I ever been hit.
I don't feel that I punch hard, no harder than anybody else. I just go in there to fight. And I don't look at it that, wow, I have power and I could put it to use. I just go and fight. I plan to go 10 rounds at a time, 8 rounds, the distance every time I fight. I don't plan to go in there and knock the guy out and kill the guy in 10 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever it calls for. I just go in there and do my best, and I'm planning to go the distance. And what happens, seems to happen.
But look at what has happened. 18 other fighters would probably agree with Sterling Benjamin that Mike Tyson punches harder than anyone else. Where does the awesome power come from? His attacking style in the ring was developed by legendary fight trainer Cus D'Amato. It's a style where Tyson works his way inside and throws swarms of left hooks and right hands to the body and head. But Mike Tyson is not a wild puncher. His current trainer, Kevin Rooney, knows the D'Amato philosophy of aggression in the ring.
It's just a combination of of using his whole body, but really snapping the shoulder, which is what it basically comes down to. But like Cuss just teach, the correct way to throw a punch, you snap your shoulder, you turn your toe, so your whole body, you got all your power behind it. But let me get on to that. Is what most people don't see. They see Mike knock people out, they see him knocking people out, so they categorize him as a puncher. Michael is a very elusive fighter. Now, Cuss always taught, you make the guy miss, you come right back. Make him miss as soon. So if you get a guy that's real good at it, Michael can be real good at it, is the guy starts to punch, but you have such good anticipation that you start to move the split second he starts to punch, you start to move and punch at the same time. It looks almost like you're leading when you're really actually countering. But what happens in a fight is the fighter throwing punches at somebody and he's not hitting the target. And he's getting hit in return. That makes the fighter that much more confused. And if he doesn't see the punch, he goes down. Now, Michael does these things, plus he has natural power. God-given nature, however, whatever you believe in, he's got it. He's a strong individual, but he throws his punches with snap. He snaps his shoulders. He has good form. So the power comes from his whole body. His legs, yes, his legs give him good power. He has big shoulders, but he gets that good snap. And he throws the punch with bad intention, which is important ingredients. You can have a real good punch, but if you don't throw with no bad intentions, you're not going to hurt nobody. But he throws them with bad intentions, so it's a combination of all. His body, his mental attitude, and his snap.
Mike Tyson learned more from Cuss D'Amato than just how to box. We'll look at their special relationship as trainer to boxer and as father to adopted son when we return to Mike Tyson fulfilling the promise following this timeout. Garden. His opponent is Mitch Blood Green, and it's a rumble that has the boxing world excited.
If I'm interested in boxing and I'm interested in heavyweights, and I have any curiosity at all, I would not miss Mike Tyson any more than my mother-in-law's first call to dinner.
Mike Tyson fights Mitch Green in a must-see event at Madison Square Garden. Tickets are available now at the Garden box office. The fame and success Mike Tyson enjoys today did not come easily. The youngest of 3 children, Tyson grew up in the ghettos of Brooklyn, and at the age of 11, he was heavily involved in crime. He spent time in several detention centers and ended up at the Tryon School for Boys in upstate New York, where an instructor, Bobby Stewart, a former fighter, introduced Mike Tyson to boxing and to Cuss D'Amato. D'Amato recognized the natural talent the youngster possessed immediately, and at their first meeting, told the 13-year-old Tyson he could be world heavyweight champion. D'Amato had already guided Floyd Patterson and Jose Torres to world titles, and knew what it took to be a champion, and said if Mike Tyson was interested, he could be champion also.
I thought it was crazy. I like to hear it and everything, but I thought it was crazy saying something like that. But then as I see it, as I'm progressing now, he had all the intentions and he was right.
Cuss D'Amato was a very, very, very good friend of mine. And Cuss asked me once to come up and watch this kid who I did not believe had what Cuss said he did. Once I saw this boy work in a gym, I didn't need to see him fight professionally. The kid has everything. He really does.
So Mike Tyson moved to Catskill, New York to begin a new life. In the ring, he learned the D'Amato boxing style. Outside the ring, there were lessons on character, discipline, and determination. The owner of the big house in Catskill where Tyson lives is Camille Ewald, D'Amato's longtime friend, who saw their relationship blossom.
I would say there was a very special relationship between Cuss and Mike. Cuss liked Mike right from the beginning because he thought there was something in that kid that he could do, that he would become something better than he was.
Well, only thing I knew that he cared about me because boxing came first. Your job came first. But when we weren't in the gym, he was a regular guy. He was a father figure, and he really cared about me.
But sometimes when they would be in the gym, they would come back to the house, and Cuss would come down, stay in the kitchen area, and show him what he did wrong, and they would together would go boxing, hitting or something.
Sometimes I'll come down early in the morning after a fight. I always come down early to run or something, just to watch cartoons, and he'll be down there, and he have his tea and everything ready, and he had my cup ready and everything with orange juice. Then he sit down, we have breakfast, we talk, and he told me everything. You did this wrong, you're going to get knocked out, you do this. You're going to fight a guy that's not afraid to throw the punch, and he's going to hit you, you're going to go down, you're going to do this. But then next day I come down and I catch him talking to somebody on the phone, and he said, the kid looked rather awesome, didn't he? You know, to other people, he would tell me, he would never tell me how good I looked.
In their 5 years together, the teacher and student also became father and son. They became so close, in fact, that some people can still hear the words of Cus D'Amato coming from his star pupil.
Mike is more an invention of Cus than any other fighter, including Floyd Patterson or myself, because Mike talks like Cus, he looks like Cus, you know, he's the personification of Cus in every angle, from the physical to the psychological point of view. I think they look alike. He's the black Cus D'Amato.
You can't be around Cus and not learn something. Now, he was around him an awful lot, so he's got a taste of Cus's principles on life.
Mike reads every book, watches every film, everything Cus taught him. He remembers all the words. He even uses the words the same way Cus does.
One thing in particular that Mike Tyson appears to have acquired from Cus D'Amato is an affection for children. Cus was always available for the local kids. They didn't have to be future champions. If they wanted to learn, Cus D'Amato was there. Mike Tyson showed some of the same concerns when he recently visited PS 39 in Staten Island. It was just 2 days after his 10-round fight with James Tillis. But Mike Tyson wasn't there to teach the young students about boxing. He wanted to answer some of their questions and just to talk. He realizes that with his increased popularity, the opportunity exists to become a role model, remembering that when he grew up in Brooklyn, he didn't have anyone to look up to. But as his fortunes in life have changed, Mike Tyson feels he has something to offer to youngsters.
He is a good success. He has a very soft-spot kid. Because I think he remembers the childhood himself when he was a kid. He says, nobody ever, when I was a kid, pet me on the head or something like that. They always either kicked me or tried to pull me someplace else. I said, I had to fight my way through. So that's the kid, so that's why he is good.
Mike Tyson continues to grow as a boxer and as a person. There have been many recent successes and accomplishments, but much more lies ahead. And we'll look at that road after this.
Championship of the world, and be the youngest heavyweight champ in the history of boxing. Of course, Cus was Floyd Patterson's manager, and Floyd won it at 21 in 10 months. Now, Mike is 19 in 10 months, so he's got 2 years, so there's plenty of time.
The ultimate goal for Mike Tyson is to break the record and win the heavyweight championship within 2 years. But there are obstacles that must be cleared along the way, and not all of them are to be found in the ring. With his continued success, Tyson is getting more and more publicity, and how he reacts to it will be important. When Cus D'Amato said that Mike Tyson could be world champion, he added, the only person who can stop him is himself. He's got to stay interested.
He must continue to train. He has to be consistent in training. He has to be very careful in choosing the friends, because he's going to be also overwhelmed by people who would love to take advantage of him. He has the potential of making a lot of money, and that and everybody knows it, that he, because of Cus and because of Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton, his managers, that he's getting an incredible publicity and that an incredible amount of money. This is dangerous for a kid like him, and that he has to fight for those temptations, you know. And it's hard for a kid. He's very strong physically, but you cannot expect him to be as strong psychologically, you know. At 19, you don't have enough experience to deal with all this situation. So I assume that he's going to be affected a little bit. But at this stage, he doesn't have to be 100% to be champion of the world. I think if he's 70% of himself, he'll be champion anyhow.
There are others who disagree. They feel that Tyson has not yet been tested, that his opponents have been too easy, and that he needs to improve certain skills.
He might be for real. I have a minor problem. I think we've coronated him before the proper ascension. I think already he's the heavyweight champion in everybody's mind's eye. There's a problem. He has to go through the right steps. Granted, we have enough heavyweight champions now to start probably Noah's second arc. Everybody is a champion. There's a PTA, a Coke Classic. Everybody's got a championship. I think he's going to have to do something to keep learning and keep moving and fighting. People can give him a little bit more of a test than they have.
He hasn't fought at the upper echelon of the division yet. He hasn't been extended into the later rounds. And he hasn't fought somebody who is a really big puncher. Probably none of those question marks are going to be answered in the negative. But until they're answered in the positive, Mike Tyson is even more intriguing.
On the outside, sometimes he makes too many moves trying to get in. Doesn't work his jab enough. He's got a very good jab. He should work it a little bit more. But he hasn't had to. He's had it his way. He's gotten guys in front of him. He's taken them out of there.
Personally, I don't think he can beat the good big heavyweight.
Right now, nobody else seems to have a malice aforethought when they fight him. Will he fight one of those? I think there's a question. When I see that, I'll be ready to join in with the coronation. Right now, I think it's a little bit too early.
Some of the criticisms are probably warranted. In fact, Tyson's trainer Kevin Rooney agrees and feels that some work still needs to be done.
He's an outstanding prospect right now. Media and people are putting the crown on his head, and you know, that's not so. He's an outstanding prospect, and in due time, he probably will wear the crown.
If Mike Tyson does win the heavyweight championship, he'll probably win it by knockout. He's shown many times he has the ability to stop an opponent. But there may be a drawback to this awesome power. The knockouts have come so quickly, 12 of them in the first round, that Tyson must learn to handle fighters who can avoid his big blows. Until he met James Tillis, Tyson had never been past the 6th round.
In the 10th and final round, with less than a minute left, he was able to open up. And whether he knows it or not, maybe when he looks at the tape, I'll be able to point out to him, is he was firing fast, hard punches at the 10th round. Now, I've been telling him right along that he could do it for 20 rounds. Because he used to say, once a fighter goes 6 rounds, he can go 20 rounds. And in the old days, he'd have 20-round fights and 40-round fights. And because believes, and I believe, that it's all in the mind. And hopefully the fighter will believe it too, because when he looks at that tape, he'll see that what he did in that 10th round, he could have been doing from the 1st round.
In boxing today, we're lucky to find some heavyweights who fight more than once a year. So it's both refreshing and amazing that Mike Tyson's next fight will be his 19th in 1 year's time, and less than 3 weeks since he went the distance against veteran James Quick Tillis. On May 20th at Madison Square Garden, Mike Tyson meets perhaps his toughest opponent yet, Mitch Blood Green. Green, like Tyson, is a New York native. He's ranked 7th in the world by the WBC and is a 4-time New York Golden Gloves champion who's fought in the Garden's main arena before. He's 16-1-1 with his only loss a narrow decision to Trevor Berbick, the current WBC heavyweight champ. At 6'5", Green will have a big height and reach advantage over Tyson and says he's ready to stop the rise of boxing's new star.
Tillis can't hook me. But I mean, the only thing I saw is right there, when the pressure gets too high, the young boy can't fight. He's not fighting no duffel bags. He ain't fighting no sparring partners or no bartenders. Just there, people just gonna stand there and let him beat on him for 1 or 2 rounds. Now he got to fight. When he got to fight, I see that he don't look too good. And the thing about it, Tillis ain't big as me. He's not strong as me. He's not as fast as me. I can stand there. I'm hurt there. I see right there, when it going to get tough, he can't handle it.
He can punch a little bit, so it's going to be a fight. It's going to, hopefully the James Tillis fight will be a jumping off point for Mike Tyson. He went there 10 rounds. He made some mistakes. Now all he has to do is correct the mistakes, and hopefully he'll have that motivation to want to do it. And I feel Michael's going to win the fight. I don't predict. You know, people try to get him to do that, not media, but just fans, friends, whatever you want to call them. I won't predict, but I won't predict no rounds, nothing like that. But he'll win. He should win, and I think he definitely will win.
One prediction you can count on. When Mike Tyson steps into the ring in Madison Square Garden on May 20th, he'll be ready to fight. Some closing thoughts on Mike Tyson and his climb up the heavyweight ladder in a moment. His knockout record compares with Rocky Marciano. He watches films of Joe Louis and Jack Dempsey, and he was guided by the man who trained Floyd Patterson. There is a championship aura around Mike Tyson, and he is well on his way to fulfilling the promise. His awesome power is taking him toward his goal.
You ready to hit that? It's the hardest I ever been hit. You have a sledgehammer, man.